Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're gonna talk about the illusion of time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if it resonates with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And you can find in my channel many videos like this. So let's start. Is time real, or is it just a construct we've invented to measure change? Let's start not with abstract ideas, but with something logical and observable. Take a clock. What does it actually measure? Not time, it measures movement. The hands move. A digital display changes numbers. The sun casts different shadows as it moves across the sky. A calendar doesn't track time. It tracks rotations of the Earth around the Sun. All of these are measurements of change, not time itself. So, what is time really? A label we place on change. Here's another angle. Imagine your phone's battery percentage going down. You might say time is passing, but what you're observing is the change in energy level. It's not time that changed, it's the battery. Now consider memory. You might think of memory as a recording of the past, but neuroscience shows that memory isn't static. It's reconstructed each time you remember it, influenced by who you are now, how you feel, what you believe. That means the past isn't fixed. It shifts as your perception does. So what if the past, present, and future all exist at once, and you're simply tuning into different points in that field? Let's go deeper. Imagine a book with hundreds of pages. You're on page 57. You remember pages 1 to 56. You don't remember page 58 or beyond, but they're already written. You just haven't read them yet. Similarly, your consciousness is currently tuned to this now, but all the other pages exist. This is where the idea of timeline shifting comes in. People ask, if I change my mindset to heal something from my past, can that actually change my current reality? Well, yes, because you're not bound to a single timeline. By shifting your emotional frequency, you align with a different version of your past, and your present experience reflects that shift. Let's say you revisit a painful memory through meditation, for example. This time, you imagine yourself handling it differently. When you come out of the meditation, you feel lighter. Did you rewrite history? From the perspective of linear time, no. You didn't go back and change what happened, but from the energetic perspective, yes. You've shifted into a version of reality where your relationship to that past is different, and your present reflects that new alignment. Here's why this doesn't mean you're changing the actual past. You're not going back and altering what happened. That moment still exists in the timeline where it originally occurred. What you're doing is shifting to a new lifeline, a parallel version of reality where your relationship to that past is different. Think of each version of the past as a unique track on a multi-track recording. You haven't erased the original, you've simply begun playing a new version. Your consciousness moves to a different line of experience, one when your interpretation, emotions, and outcomes have shifted. From your perspective, your emotional and even physical reality may change, but from the perspective of the infinite field, nothing was erased. You just tuned into a different version that always existed. So there's constant change in the universe, but from above, there's no change at all. And even King Solomon said, in Hebrew, it is Ein Chadash Tachat HaShemesh, and in English, it is there's nothing new under the sun, because under the sun, in the universe, there's nothing really new when you see it from above. Let's take a relatable example. You once met someone vibrant and alive, but over time they lost their spark and you drifted apart. And now you find yourself wishing to reconnect, but only with that earlier version of them. Can you? Yes, you can, because that version still exists. By becoming a match to their earlier frequency, which is joy, vitality, ambition, you may either attract a renewed version of them or a new person with that same energy. And here's the key. You're not forcing anyone to change. You're simply aligning with a version of them that already exists. Their free will remains intact in their own timeline, but your experience reflects the new version. And don't forget that in manifestation, we never want to focus on the form, the person, the specific house, whatever. We want to focus on the feeling, the energy. And we can see by the present moment what we attract and what we don't attract. This leads us to one of the most frequently asked questions, which is, if I change my frequency and shift timelines, what happens to other people? Do they change too? And what about their free will? The answer is simple and profound. Every version of every person already exists, as we said before. When you shift, you're not rewriting others. You're selecting which version of them you're interacting with. You aren't controlling them. You're tuning to the version of reality where their frequency naturally matches yours. So imagine you're in a room with multiple doors. Behind each door is a different version of your life. You don't change the contents of the rooms. You choose which door to walk through. The rooms already exist. That's how timeline shifting works. You are constantly walking through different doors based on your dominant thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. In each moment, you already know how to manifest and how to shift. You may be just not conscious enough of how to shift into what you want. And I have a video about it, and I'll put it down in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, please, and help me make this channel bigger. I would really appreciate this. So let's bring this down to earth with some everyday examples. If you want to look younger, begin to tune into the version of you who feels youthful, energized, radiant. Start dressing like them, move your body like them, smile like them. Think of yourself as vibrant, not aging, as if all possibilities are open. You're not doomed to this reality and that's it. Like if a child was in your situation exactly, what would he think? If you want wealth, start thinking, feeling, and acting like someone who already experiences financial freedom. Appreciate the money you already have. Walk with a sense of value. Tip like someone who isn't afraid of lack. Let yourself feel supported. And I have a really great affirmation video that I will put in the description below. If you want a relationship, Begin feeling how it is to be seen, valued, and connected. Speak kindly to yourself. Make space in your home and your life for someone to enter. Begin to treat yourself the way you'd want to be treated by your partner. And here's the most important piece. You are not creating the future. You're selecting it. Try to remember it. You're not trying to remember it. You are selecting your future out of all possibilities. Each possible version of your life already exists. The version of you that lives in your dream home already exists. The version of you who runs a thriving business already exists. The version of you who feels deeply loved, healthy, and confident already exists. You align with those versions not by effort or forcing, but by matching their internal state. So if time is not what we thought, what it is really, think of time not as a line you move along, but as a static landscape. You, the observer, are like a flashlight moving over that landscape. Where you shine your attention becomes your now. The rest of the landscape doesn't disappear. You just aren't focused on it. That is why change can feel sudden. One moment you're struggling, and then click. You think differently, you feel differently, and suddenly people treat you differently because you've shifted your flashlight. Here's another metaphor. Imagine reality like a film reel. All the frames already exist. Your consciousness is like the projector light. Wherever it shines becomes your moment of experience. The movie seems to move, but really it's your perception jumping from frame to frame. The idea that time flows from past to future is just a convenient story. In truth, all possible moments exist simultaneously, and your attention is what determines which one you live. So if that's true, what's stopping you from jumping into a future you prefer? Nothing, except your current beliefs about what's possible. Your job is to choose which version of reality you tune into by becoming emotionally and mentally compatible with it. Let's go back to the book example. Imagine a novel with 300 pages. You're currently on page 57. You remember what happened on page 1 to 56, just like before. You don't yet know what happens on page 58, but guess what? That page already exists. You're just not there yet. Your future is already written, not as a fixed destiny, but as a possibility that's real and available the moment you match its frequency. And here's the twist. Even the past is like that. When you change your perception of the past event, you don't just feel better. You actually shift into a version of reality where that event sits differently in your timeline. That's why some memories seem to soften, or why certain events feel less intense over time. You're not just changing your feelings, you're changing your position in the field. You might think of memory like an archive, but it's more like a living document that rewrites itself in real time based on who you've become. So, are you ready to stop chasing the future and start aligning with it? Stop trying to get there. Start becoming the version of you who already lives there, because time isn't running out. It never was. Everything you want already exists. You're not waiting for it. You are remembering how to receive it. So let yourself be still for a moment. Let yourself remember who you truly are, because the version of you you're longing to be is already here, just waiting for you to notice. So thank you again for being here. I hope you enjoyed this exploration. If something in it resonated with you, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what part sparked something inside you, or what new questions it opened up. Also, share it please with someone who needs it. And if you feel called to listen again, do. Sometimes we hear different things the second or third time around, just like shifting timelines. Our perception deepens as we change. So, thank you again. Until next time, stay curious and take care.